Hello, my Cancer risings, and welcome to today's video. Today's video for you guys is going to be a 2026 career year ahead. I'm still doing 2026 energies because we are approaching Year of the Horse, transitioning out of Year of the Snake, and we still have the astrological new year in March. So I feel like we're wrapping up, we're starting new. There's still this energy for quite a while. And there's a lot happening throughout 2026. So if you are a returner, welcome back. I love you guys. And if you are new here, welcome to the Moon Fam. My name is Haley Delgado, otherwise known as Moon Girl. Here, let's otherwise known as at my Moon Girl Readings on Tumblr, Instagram, now YouTube. If you guys want to take a second to support this free content and you guys like your reading, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you are wanting to be in the know of all the surprises are going to unfold here on YouTube, or if you want to check out another person's rising sign for either their 2026 year ahead or your 2026 career year ahead, I have a playlist. You can check my playlist for just your overall with love and life. And then if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when like your lover or your family or just another person in your life, if you're wanting to know what's going to be in store for them, you can go ahead and click the notification bell and it'll let you know when their career year ahead is uploaded. Now, we are in a new filming location today. I am currently in Évian, France, and I am right by the lake. It is back there. It is absolutely beautiful. I did consider filming outside, but it was so cold I couldn't do it. I'm actually wearing a sweater inside. So, but just thank you. I'm so appreciative of my community, of my job. I have the best job in the world. So grateful for the life I live. That being said, today's video, the breakdown, is going to be the major transits that I looked at in your guys' chart for career. So we're going to be going over what each of those mean. And if you are wanting to know the specific dates, the specific times, you want easy access to every single full new moon. There is a blue rare moon this year. Super moon, eclipses, retrogrades, transits, things like that. I created a digital calendar and I worked really hard on it. It's my latest baby. It'll be in the link for you guys to purchase if you guys are wanting that. It syncs to Google, to Apple, to basically all devices. And yeah, you can just input into your calendar and you'll be the first to know. Without further ado, the second part of the reading is going to be pulling a card from this goddess deck, and my intention for this is going to be a just overall message of guidance, something to remember, a little uplifting message, as well as if you guys work with deities, you guys like to know what goddesses are currently surrounding you or working with you or someone to look into, this will represent that. And then last but not least, y'all know I love the Astro Dice because each and every one of our charts are so nuanced. We have completely different blueprints from degrees to aspects to rulers. So I like to use the Astro Dice to throw in chance and probability. This is going to represent another overall confirmation or theme, as well as the important signs in your career life. Now, this is career, but I also always go into legacy, purpose, visibility, things like that. So these are going to be important players. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get started. So, the first transit that is going to be really big for you guys, literally the first one that I looked up that really stood out was Jupiter in Cancer, right? Jupiter has been going through Cancer, which is your guys' first house. And since it is transiting through your guys' first house, this naturally means that it's opposing your guys' seventh house of business. If you guys own a business, that's relevant for you. It's also squaring the 10th house of career, of legacy, right? As well as the just first house, which our ascendant, the first house, that's our chart ruler, right? So when the captain of the chart gets activated by something like Jupiter, there's a lot going on. So let's talk about it. Jupiter is going to be in Cancer until midsummer. And Jupiter right now is in retrograde. And I describe Jupiter and the journey. When it's direct, it is like going on a trail and trying to reach the top of the mountain or the view, right? And when it's retrograded, this is when we take a break. This is when we are stopping on the journey and we're recuperating, right? We are refueling, we are rehydrating, we are setting up camp for a little bit, maybe starting a fire, sharing some stories, really slowing down on the journey and reframing. We are making sure that all our ducks are in a row. We're looking at maybe different trails or, kind of gauging where we're at. When Jupiter is retrograde, this is when opportunities that and expansion that was happening in our life takes a pause, a really divinely guided pause for us to reassess. And so there could be there's this energy for you guys within our life direction, within our relationships, within any business ventures, within our home life, within our career, where we are expanding. And now it could feel like we're kind of seeing either certain opportunities or forms of expansion fall away, or we're seeing the keys that we need to open in order to allow full steam ahead on our expansion journey. Now, this could be reshaping of identity, who we are and how we show up in the world, our career opportunities. So do know when Jupiter goes direct in March that this is going to be when the engine starts picking back up. So if you guys feel like there's a little bit of a lull, or you guys are comfy even right now in kind of the reflective energy, things will be expanding forward in new and amazing ways beyond our perception of what was possible, right? Because that's Jupiter. It's optimistic, it's a benefic, it is expanding our consciousness past what we thought was possible for ourselves. And fun fact, science does show that when consciousness expands, it can't retract back. So this is going to be opportunities that are going to be long-term. This is going to be expansion in our life direction that is long-term, right? And for you guys, Cancer rising, so much of life is about finding fulfillment, about finding emotional home fulfillment in our purpose, in our passion, in our home life, in our relationships. So it is going to be moving into Leo during the summer, right? So that's going to be activating your guys' second house. I naturally have Jupiter in my second house, and I love that placement. It's actually, if you look up on Google, just generally, it's a positive cycle when we have Jupiter moving through the second house. That's our money, right? That's our assets. That's our habits. When we build great habits, like financial habits and health habits, and we attach ourselves to things that are of high value, we expand our level of self-worth, then that's when all different forms of holistic abundance come through. And so I love the second house because though it is money, the do-re-mi, right? It also is so holistic in the sense that we could be getting reinstilled faith and reinstilled expansion and just overall developing different beliefs around money, what we deserve, who we're attached to, what we're investing into, right? This could be a time where you could buy a car, you could redecorate your place, you could be investing into the tools or the certifications or things like that in order to make more money, right? And with Jupiter, this could be an expansion of our talents, right? I could see Cancer risings getting really creative. Cancer risings, you guys are creative. You guys are very imaginative, and you guys can nurture projects. You guys can nurture investments, right? So that's going to be awesome. As well as Jupiter opposing the 8th house, that's going to be, work smarter, not harder. Who we're investing into, how we're spending our energy. We have that Scorpio energy of really getting to the bottom of things, getting to the truth of what we want, who we want, and things like that. So this can also be if you guys are wanting to invest, or you guys do have investments in stocks, in crypto, you guys are in the military, you guys are applying for scholarships, you guys are hoping to join finances with a partner or a partnership in business. This is a really auspicious, positive cycle. So I would use this energy to not only manifest, right? But also it's just very, very auspicious. So anything that we pour into, we can also be met with auspicious results, right? Like, if we're going to apply, if we've been wanting to apply for a job, if we've been wanting to create a project, if we've been wanting to invest into something that we want to see be lucrative, that holds a lot of value for us, that's going to make us feel more secure, this is the time to do so. So also, Jupiter is going to be direct, right? We talked about that journey up the mountain of just climbing and gaining more momentum and reaching peaks, reaching goals. It's going to be direct until the very end of the year. So that's really awesome, because that means that we're going to feel like we're just expanding and expanding and expanding. So that's the first transit. Second transit's going to be Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries. Now, if you are a Cancer rising in whole sign house system, that means that you guys have Aries in the 10th house. Some of you guys as Cancer risings could have midhaven in Taurus or midhaven in Pisces. So when I talk about Taurus placements, excusez-moi, or Pisces placements, then I would pay attention to those. I'm going to talk about some Taurus placements and some Pisces placements later on. So if you don't have your midhaven in Aries and you're like, man, I really want to hear about the Taurus midhaven stuff or the Pisces midhaven stuff, feel free to check out the other videos, like Gemini rising or Leo rising. And I go into a bunch of 10th house stuff there. But you guys do have Aries in your 10th house. So Saturn entering Aries, which is happening today. Happy brand new karmic cycle. So exciting. We have a 2-year cycle, around a 2-year cycle, where we're going to be able to funnel a lot of passion, honestly, just raw emotion, no matter what the emotion is. Ain't no judgment when it comes to emotions. Cancer rising. I'm a Cancer sun and I'm ruled by the moon, and Pluto's by my moon. So when it comes to channeling all forms of anger, passion, fear, excitement, giddiness, faith, anything, Saturn in Aries is asking for us to channel that somewhere, and forward when it is in when we're dealing with Saturn, right? Because I like to use the analogy of, because it's the year of the horse, right? And you know how horses, when they go to like shows or they're in public, they have the blinders. That is like Saturn's sort of boundary. That is Saturn's sort of tunnel vision. Saturn rules over linear energy. And so each and every day, if we put the work in, even if it's like 1 step, 10 steps towards our goals, towards our achievements, towards public recognition, towards being honored for the work that we're doing, right? We'll achieve that with due time. Saturn is the planet of just rewards, right? So making honorable decisions that honor us, that honor, the highest good of everyone involved, will produce really fruitful results, right? And it could be slow. This is a slow burn. However, don't underestimate the hare and the tortoise story. The tortoise won the race, right? So the next 2 years is kind of like jumping through hoops and mastering lessons around not only our career, right, by honoring ourselves and our truest desires with our career, but this is also, with Saturn passing through here, how do I want to explain this? like a refining, I would say refining energy around our masculine energy, right? Our masculine and feminine energies. And this looks like balancing, refilling our cup, right? Of having a happy home life, of taking the time to relax, taking the time to unwind, right? So that we don't go too fast where we burn out, right? Sometimes that can happen even with the things that we love most. I definitely, with Mars in my 10th house, have struggled with this, from everything from being, you know, a teenager that burnt out on softball, that like sometimes too, I mean, I'll get sick and it's my body telling me to slow down. And that's something I've had to really refine. Again, I have Saturn in my 4th. So the huge balance of balancing our masculine and feminine energy, that hair energy, and sometimes have us burnt out, right? He took a nap, right? And he's like, I got this. Like, I just went so fast and like now I can chill, right? Versus the hair was nice and sturdy, right? Nice and steady, right? He had a sturdy path, a sturdy plan. It was steady in execution. So this is what I recommend. Because that's just the energies that are going to be present. That could be themes for you. But also at the same time, we have Neptune energy, right? So, and when I say recommend to, it's not serious, right? It's like, it's just talking about the energies. But we have Neptune, which Neptune's so different from Saturn. Neptune is blurred lines, right? And Neptune is like a dream, right? Where like we don't always see the corners of every room in space in the dream, right? But sometimes our daydreams, right? When we're dreaming with our eyes open, that visualization, there's a lot of manifestation, a lot of visualization, a lot of spiritual energy aligned with our passions, with our legacy, with the life we want to leave behind, with how we want to be remembered, with our purpose and our role in life, right? And this also includes our career. So I would say dream with your eyes wide open. I'm actually going to probably like write that in your guys' title. Dreaming with your eyes wide open. I'm thinking of that song from The Greatest Showman, where when he's a kid and then he goes from a kid and being like a big dreamer ever since he was a child, and then he turns into the adult, and then he's singing, Hugh Jackman is singing in the adult form, right? And he is fully now in that like sort of Saturn energy. It's like his Saturn return, like he's passing through lessons and really, creating the greatest show. And so when we have Neptune here, this is a dreaming with our eyes wide open. And then Saturn is with Aries, Mars energy is like destroying all obstacles in our path. So if you felt like there was sometimes some obstacles within your career, within the achievements or the goals that you're wanting to set out, with Mars energy, with Aries energy, that's its power, right? And then it's just that energy of the tortoise, right? Of funneling it into a way that's consistent. So the third transit is going to be the eclipses / the nodes that are moving into Aquarius and Leo this year. We have an eclipse in Aquarius coming right up, right? It's in a few days. That is going to be in your guys' 8th house. Now, the 8th house we talked about a little bit, that Scorpio energy of working smarter, not harder. So Scorpio will put in the effort, right? Scorpio is just very fearless, right? So when the eclipse happens here, this could be really eclipsing anything out of our life that is just old. It just no longer needs to be there, like a split end, right? And sometimes it can feel so good after we get like a new fresh haircut, right? Hair holds memory, right? And when we have the eclipse that's going to be happening in the 8th house, we're going to eclipse anything that we've been really like pouring our energy into. And with Pluto moving through here, you guys could have already felt this, like maybe intimate relationships or like, our shadow sides, like really some phases ending with that, some connections ending, some old habits, some old desires, some old investments ending, right? And this is very, very karmic with Pluto. I always give the analogy of termite infestation and Pluto coming in, and instead of just patching up the eroded wood or, fumigating, Pluto says, nuh-uh, tear down the entire foundation, re-level the soil, we'll build it up brick by brick, and create a new solid foundation that's not only authentic to us, but Pluto is the crown of truth, right? And so it's going to be more in alignment with our truest desires, the subconscious desires, right? And that's going to be eliminating and slaying our fears, right? So this is going to reflect in the second house too, right? Because where we direct our energy, habits, those things build, and that becomes our sense of security. That becomes, our intimate life. And when we have the eclipses that are going to be highlighting the second and eighth house, we have now new investments coming in. We have new values being reinstated. We have new habits, right? And I was talking about this in the video I had just filmed, but I talked about, the second house being a lot like Lent in the Catholic religion, where they give up something for 40 days, right? And it's kind of like giving up a habit. And when we do that, it could be very spiritual, very personal to us, because a lot of our progress is made in the daily habits in our life, and those build, that compounds, right? And when we have Jupiter, we're going to expand past old habits and develop new habits, right? And so our self-worth could really be expanding, like what we think we deserve. And our heart could be opening a lot again too. And with that too, it's like what our heart's desires are, what we have our eyes set on. On my microwave, it's 1114, right? So I view 1114, like ones and fours, as being angelically kind of guided. And if you don't resonate with that, it reminds me of White Moon Selena, where we're our own guardian angel, right? So that could really be coming up, where it's like, man, I need to be there for me. I can lead myself out of any situation into a better one, right? Wouldn't be surprised, again, if like old cars are breaking down, or old appliances, or old furniture, you guys may be feeling like just we want to clean out stock, right? And make space for new. So that's the eclipses and the nodes switching, right? And this could also be mirrored in like new investments and like new scholarships, again, new investments, whether that's crypto, stocks, are, who we surround ourselves by, can also be very strategic, right? So we got the new and the old right there with the third transit. And then we have, and also, by the way, this is sextiling the 10th and 4th house, right? And sextile represents an opportunity. So these investments, these habit changes, these new possessions, these new investments and new values can create new opportunities for more peace emotionally, more simplifying our life, which leads to more peace emotionally with Libra in the 4th house. And then with Aries, like more momentum towards simplifying and just going towards one desire, or one true desire at a time, or our most authentic desires and our most authentic self in the public, or like how we show up in life and how we show up in who we are. So we have that. And then the 4th transit, I was looking at Uranus wrapping up in Taurus, right? Uranus is now direct, which is awesome. There was a lot of energy within the collective with Uranus retrograded in Taurus, especially in those last cumulative degrees. That last decan of Taurus is Saturn, right? And Saturn, again, is like just rewards, and Saturn is linear results, linear. My Mercury opposing my Uranus has struck yet again. Um, we are going to have an accumulation of money solidifying. We're going to have an accumulation of self-worth solidifying. This is huge. When we have Uranus that is finishing up 8 years in a sign, we have an upgrade that is fully done downloading, where we're going to open up our phone, our laptop, right? And we're going to see, like, if our house was under construction, this is the final result, right? And with construction, for example, there's a movie called The Money Pit. I love old films and stuff like that. It's an old movie. I believe it's with Tom Hanks. But there's this joke in the movie, and my dad did construction like all his life. He owns a construction company, and there's like a joke, right, where it's like when you're going to do construction, you're going to, rearrange things and rebuild things. There's a joke that if somebody says it's going to take 2 weeks, it'll take like 2 months, right? It's like there's just sometimes setbacks, or there's things that come up, right? Electricity stuff, or measurements and all that stuff. We want to take our time and really build it correctly, and that is the energy that I would describe as Uranus in Taurus and finishing up. So this is exciting. If you feel like with your money or your investments, like you're waiting for a couple of things to fall into place, or maybe we're waiting on like divine intervention, or like divine timing, like things that are outside of our control, expect those things to come in, expect those things to change. But as these things change, they're solidifying, right? They're taking its final form. And the 11th house is the income we get from our career. 11th house is our wishes and our desires. It's our evolution, right? So evolving into a long form of stability is going to be seen here. So as it wraps up in Taurus, it will be moving into Gemini. So if you want the date for that, again, my calendar and like all the dates, the times, and how long things are going to be retrograding, or things like that's going to be in the bio. But when Uranus moves out of Taurus, this is going to feel too like we really have, in the last 8 years, evolved so much as a person, quite truly, with the life that we desire, right? And if you feel the need to like reinvent any ways in which you make your money, this is something too that is really beneficial, right? If you want to switch up your investments, if you want to add additional streams of income, if you want to switch careers, if you'd like to, anything like that, this will be a time too where, because Uranus talks about the future, I would pay attention to the things you're investing into, the wishes that are coming true. Even if we wish for something and we're like, you know what, I actually don't want to live in a big city, or I actually don't want to live by myself, or I actually don't want this type of car, or I actually want this. The 11th house is the phrase that I associate it with is be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Where we're just seeing a lot of the truth, right? We're seeing a lot of how we actually want to live our day-to-day life with, Scorpio in the 5th house, and Sagittarius in the 6th house. As it moves, this is going to be changing our day-to-day routines, right? Like our day-to-day life could be expanding in ways in which, and our work life, and our work ethic, and like our relationship, what we were talking about with masculine energy, right? And feminine energy, where there's going to be some newness there, right? And so what we solidify is our foundation, which is really karmic, right? It's very fated when we have the outer planets, right? In terms of what we came here to do and to experience. This is going to be opening up, right? So when it comes to our day-to-day life, this is going to be some newness here, right? Where we could be experimenting now that we have a more solid foundation with Uranus moving out of Taurus. We can have some room for trying some new things in order to live overall a more optimistic, satisfying life. So day-to-day life, right? Like romanticizing our life. So And then we have the fifth transit, which is Pluto that has been transiting through Aquarius and Leo. Even though this transit isn't like changing as much as like the other transits, Pluto's still a very, very, very powerful planet. And I thought it was worth mentioning that if you have any planets in the first decan of Aquarius or the first decan of Leo, or we have our midhaven in Aries within the first decan, this is completely shifting how we show up in the world, right? So if you are a creative, if you are wanting more visibility within yourself, your art, your business, your just recognition even for the work that we contribute, right? Like being valued at our company, or, you know, being valued by our employees if we're a leader, right? Aries midhavens make excellent leaders, and excellent entrepreneurs, and excellent, trailblazers within the world, within their family, within their environment. This is a complete upgrade, right? Well, we'll be slaying our fears, maybe around visibility, maybe around going after the career, the job that we really, really want, right? So again, this is going to be switching around. It starts, with the second and eighth house, right? Where who we're investing into, what we're investing into, our habits, where we're directing our energy, the investments that we make. That's going to create an opportunity for us to, find more emotional fulfillment and more fulfillment in the achievement of our goals, and just like showing up in the world in general. So yeah. Let's see what else. So then we have, last but not least. Oh, and also just like overall with Pluto moving through the second and eighth houses, this is like millionaire energy, quite truly. Pluto is a very slow moving planet. It was in Capricorn for 15 years. It's going to be in Aquarius for 20, right? So there's only a few signs in our lifetime that Pluto will activate an area of our life. And Pluto, again, will rebuild everything, will destroy anything that's like not a solid foundation, whether that's people or identities or beliefs, situations, places, jobs. Completely eradicate anything that is not authentic to us, that is not going to put us in our power, so that we can build the empire, right? So if you're wanting to build an empire, this is also a great energy, because we're in the early stages of Pluto. We're also seeing, with Pluto moving through Aquarius, that's the future, right? That's like the future, the past, like quantum timelines constantly tapping into, right? So this is, we could be making investments not only for the next 18 years, but some of those timelines are anchoring in now, right? Which is really exciting. So that's what I have to say there. And then we have the last transit, which is Chiron, that is moving out of your guys' 10th house into the 11th house. Now, when we have Chiron moving through the 10th house, we could have felt a little sensitive, right? Opposing the 4th house, a little sensitive over the last 8 years. Emotionally, we could have felt a little sensitive in like how we're showing up, right? If we felt challenged in our work, if we felt challenged by the world, to put it like that, like people were testing us, testing our authenticity, testing our patience, quite literally, testing our peace. This is going to be when we're going to feel some sweet relief around that energy leaving, right? Especially if we've been, when whatever area we have Aries in our chart is an area where we're naturally extremely powerful, right? So Cancer risings, you show up in the world very, very powerfully, right? Your energy is undeniable. Your aura is like over 10,000 points, right? Very big, strong aura, which I think is something that is not talked a lot about with Cancer risings. The fact that you guys do have such a big aura, whether you guys are more introverted or extroverted, right? It's about the authenticity of the energy that you carry, right? And Cancer is very intuitive in matching a room, in displaying and emulating the energy that it wants to. And when we have Chiron moving through Aries, it's also been squaring our first house and squaring our relationship house. So this is like new stability. We're going to be feeling this new stability, and kind of this just like exhale. Like, oh my gosh, it wasn't going to feel like that forever. Oh my gosh, like this feels grounding. This feels like I can stand on 2 feet. Like I don't have to like keep trying new things, or, you know, because cardinal energies love to kickstart, they love to jump, right? And when we have Chiron that's going to be moving into Taurus, the fixed energies love to kind of plant themselves and ride the lazy river, right? Row when we need to, right? It's like the law of least effort. And mutable signs are a little bit like that too. But, you know, we're going to feel like, okay, the career, the emotional home, you know, our public self, our identity, like how we're interacting and like our viewpoint of the world and our relationship life. Like we've just finished and graduated a healing cycle there, right? And with our career, this could be a time where, also because Chiron represents the trainer, Chiron in mythology, he's one of my favorites. Chiron's an unproblematic king than most mythology figures. Zeus denoted him a place in the sky. I think that has something to say about Chiron. I also made a Chiron video if you guys want to check that out, so you can look at your natal Chiron. Something else here too is because you've trained for so long, for the last 8 years within your guys' career, you guys could really help, like easily help others with their career, right? Whether that's guidance, whether that is you sharing your own stories, what you learned. You could really be somebody who others look at as inspiration. Like this is graduating, and I think that the energy that's coming through is you are very inspirational within your career and the legacy that you've set out into the world. I feel like you guys have like achieved a lot. You guys have just been in those training grounds, just like, and I don't want training to sound like you know, like like my brother played football, and like week 1 it was like hell week where they just like lift heavy shit and they're like doing sprints and like all that stuff. Training, you know, when it came to Chiron, it reminds me of like Jedi training, right? Where it's like we gain powers, we gain abilities, we are shining as a star. We could even have been teaching others throughout like our time that Chiron was here. And those never leave us. This is work that like it never, you can't undo it, right? It always lies dormant within you now, right? Because we earned it, because we mastered it. It's like the 10,000 hours sort of analogy, or muscle memory, right? So all that we had gone through in terms of our career, our achievements, our goals, showing up in the public, our reputation, right? A lot of that was leading us towards more authenticity. Even if sometimes those angular houses, the identity, relationship, emotional, home, family, worldview, maybe felt painful at times, there was and is a healing that you guys will have that will be part of your legacy, right? And I think being a leader and just being really inspirational is an energy that honestly I feel like you guys should clap, give your guys's I give you guys as your roses, because Chiron stays for the longest in the sign of Aries and then stays for the shortest amount of time in Libra. But Chiron moving into the 11th house, I think it's going to feel, because the 11th house, and I'm seeing 113 on my microwave now, which is like holistically like the Trinity like coming together, right? It's like our spiritual and our physical and like our mental slash emotional coming together in this like trifecta, right? And the ones are new beginnings and like shaping our thoughts, right? And it reminds me of like whether you think you can or can't, it's true, right? the 11th house is the house of our hopes and wishes. And the 11th house is known as the house of auspicious earnings, of dreams coming true, right? And that comes from evolving and aligning our frequency, breaking out of molds, breaking out of boxes, and knowing that anything is possible for us, right? Aquarius, breaking free. So I think when Chiron moves into Taurus, it's going to feel like this taste, this Costco sample, if y'all know what I mean, on Saturdays, where, like, oh my gosh, I've landed, right? Like, I'm on two solid feet. Like, I can wish, I can hope. And I just watched the Hunger Games last night, and President Snow was talking about how the only thing stronger than fear is hope. And that's coming to mind. That it's going to feel like, I don't know, it reminds me of also like when they say like, if you're ever feeling down or overwhelmed or something like that, don't make any decisions when you're inside. Like, wait till you're out in nature. We could be reconnecting with nature, and then it's kind of like maybe a lot of like the journey thus far with our career, with family, with a relationship, stuff like that. It's like we have our own self and our own evolution at the end of the day. And right, and like choosing like who we're going to be surrounded by. I think too, like, there's like a lot of different like major energies with the second and third house eclipses, and the ninth and third house eclipses with friends and new possibilities and the journey, where I do think we're going to get like a taste of just like some grounded healing energy. And also, if we've been in the energy of like achieving, I think we're going to feel really satisfied with the blessings and what we've accomplished so far, right? And perhaps just grounding for the whole new set of wishes. And it's something where like we're not going to have to work as hard, right? Because the Aries energy, yes, we're going to have Neptune and Saturn moving through Aries, so there we will be putting effort there. However, the 11th house is so much about like, you know, for example, if we're trying to get on a train in a foreign country, right? And we do it by ourselves, that Aries of like, yep, I can do this. My ego says I will find it by myself. I will use my own Google Maps. I will use my skills, and ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Solo dolo. But the 11th house is like, you know what? I saw that person sitting next to me on the plane. Why don't I just like start a conversation about how nasty that dessert was? And then you do, and it's like the like-minded people, like, of course, that's like the silliest example ever. But it is like meeting your people, and, you know, just kind of like birds of a feather flock together. And let's say you talk to this person and they're like, oh yeah, this is like my third time here. Like, I can go with you if you would like. And then it's just overall like we're evolving towards the same place, but we could feel a little bit more seen. We could feel a little bit lighter. We could feel a little bit like we don't have to do it the way in which we maybe traditionally expected to kind of figure it out by ourselves when we're solo traveling. And then it's like, that's a memory. And like we could have like, maybe they have a portable charger and like our phone's almost dead, and it's like, wow, like I really wished for a great vacation. Now it's proof that it's happening, right? So I see that. I kind of see like proof that everything that you guys have put in is like solidifying into a new stage, and we'll be feeling that. So that is the transits. Let's go ahead and grab our deck. By the way, when I film my readings, or even when I do, like I pull cards or I work with divination on my own, I only connect to sovereign beings of unconditional love and light, the highest frequency of love and light that are connected to me in my spirit team. So yeah, I also cleanse the energy between each zodiac group so I can tune in with y'all, and as well as just use the good old reading of a chart, the language of astrology, and stuff like that. I'm curious how you guys have been feeling with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. I feel like it's a really special cycle because Jupiter feels exalted in Cancer. If you guys have made it this far, you guys want to put a little, let's do like a fruit. Then I know you guys are a real one. All right, let's go ahead and pull. Again, this is going to be just a general message as well as a goddess that is close to you that you can research, that could be prevalent with themes or that you can work with. There could also be an asteroid related to the goddess because there's a lot of mythology that is like the asteroids have been named after a lot of mythological my Uranus. Not Uranus, my Uranus. My words. Okay. I'm waiting for the one, you know. I'm kind of waiting for one to like fall out. How y'all doing? Ooh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Athena, Pallas Athena, our queen. Okay, so she is a goddess of knowledge. She was known as the goddess of wisdom. She was born from Zeus's forehead. He had a pounding headache. Out came Pallas Athena at around 18 years old. She is the archetype of like a young woman or just a young person that is now entering into maturity, right? And this is the number 5, so 5s represent change, right? 5s represent positive change, right? And sometimes change can be uncomfortable, right? But positive change, right? So we were talking about that, especially with Uranus and Chiron, but owls could be significant. If you guys hear an owl, you guys see an owl, like jewelry or anything, that could be a sign for you. Also, she has like a crown on her head. And again, with Pluto, I feel like you guys are being crowned with truth, right? Pallas Athena, she represents the feminine side of war, right? So not the brute and strength and like things like that, like the masculine, if you want to put it like that. And when I'm talking about masculine and feminine, I'm talking about energies of like continuing to battle forward. She uses her gnosis, right? Like not N or not K-N-O-W, but G-N-O-S-I-S, what we know, not what we know. She represents our third eye, and it is very much observing the room, observing the motivations of other people, observing the human behaviors, observing the tactics, and being able to see our objective and achieve that objective. She's very competitive, right? She loves a good competition. I see this as like kind of the balancing the feminine and masculine energy. I feel like you guys are tapping a lot into feminine energy with this too, because we can still win, right? Like, or achieve the objective or come up with tactics that are going to allow us to slay what we want. And so that could be a prevalent energy for you guys. And yeah, a little quick story about her. It's named Athens, Greece, after the story of Pallas Athena. She used to go up against like her dad's brothers, like Zeus, her dad. She went up against Poseidon for the victory of having the name of the city in Greece being named after either Poseidon or Athena. And Poseidon did something with water, and she created an olive tree. And the objective was to create, I believe it was to create something that proved to be like of most value, or like help the most amount of people. And it created olives, it created olive oil, it created shade, right? And so she won, right? And it was all about just mostly that feminine strategic side, right? So this is a prevalent energy. Love that. I love Pallas Athena, and it is asteroid number 2 in astro.com. If you guys want to check where the Pallas asteroid is transiting in your chart, that could be significant. or where your own natal palace is if you guys want to work with that. I also have an asteroid book that goes into everything I talked about and many other goddesses on my website, which is linked below if you guys want to hear your personal description for Pallas Athena and learn more and work with her. Next, we have the Astro Dice. This is going to be important people in your life and just any other last messages. So, oh, I'm so happy for you guys. Cancers, have you guys felt like y'all been going through it? Either that or y'all feel like peace is coming. Like you deserve your justice. Like this is like justice will be served. Whether in actual law or metaphorically in your life, right? Because we have Libra. So Libra placements could be significant within your career life, your purpose, things like that. So we have Libra. Then we have the 9th house, which is Sagittarius. So Sagittarians could be significant. And then we have the North Node, right? Which the nodes are based off the moon. So this is Cancer, right? So we have Cancer, Libra, and Sagittarius. Amazing. Those are going to be the signs that are most prevalent, right? And that's activating your 1st house of life direction, your 6th house of work, and then your 4th house of home. North Node in the 9th house in Libra. The 9th house is expanding our consciousness past what we thought was ever possible for ourselves, for like new doors in the journey opening up, for faith being restored, like being in the right place at the right time, having the right people at the right time, right? Like the train example analogy. I just see like more peace, more balance. I think balance is going to bring us, is going to take us further along our journey than ever before. And there is a lot of faded, this could be faded romance also. It's there, might as well say it. This could be faded romance. This could be, if you guys feel the draw to travel anywhere, this could also bring a lot of peace, and like balance and of the mind, and the heart, right? That's Libra, the balancing of the mind and the heart, the air sign, the Venus. And yeah, I just think there's going to be some faded events. You're heading towards your destiny, straight up. You're heading towards your destiny, and the destiny does involve optimism. Even if, like, let's say, like, we have to disenable old beliefs, like, time to turn those off. Like, those served and no more, right? Or it's like, I really want to find balance in my life. That's faded. So there also could be new opportunities with like partnering up with romantic, business, platonic people. So that is everything that I do have for you, Cancer Risings. I hope that you enjoyed your 2026 career year ahead reading. Stay safe, take it easy, take care, have a great day or night whenever you are watching this, and I will see you in a later video.